What's going on, guys? This is your boy, Billy Chuck, coming at you with episode 35. In this episode, we're going to talk about Trent Reznor and his band, 9 Nails. Let's go. 9 Nails is an industrial rock band that formed in 1998 in Cleveland, Ohio. And my man Trent Reznor was the only permanent member of the band until his frequent collaborator Atticus Ross joined in 2016. The band's debut album was called Pretty Hate Machine, and it was released on TBT Records. After disagreeing with TBT about how to promote the album, the band signed with Interscope Records and released the EP called Broken in 1992. The following albums, The Downward Spiral and The Fragile, were released to critical acclaim and commercial success. The Downward Spiral, that's when I picked up on them, as a lot of people did probably. My first track that I ever heard from them was Closer, and that's the song, I Wanna Fuck You Like an Animal. Y'all remember that one? 9 Nails' first album, it was called Pretty Hate Machine, and it was written, arranged, and performed by Trent Reznor. 9 Nails' first album debuted in 1989. It marked his first collaboration with Adrian Sherwood, who produced the lead single Down In It in London without meeting Reznor face to face. It was also produced by Mark Ellis. Reznor asked Sean Bevan to mix the demos of Pretty Hate Machine. Which had received multiple offers for record deals. He mixed sound during 9 Nails live concerts for several years, eventually becoming an unofficial member of the live band and singing backup vocals from his place at the mixing console. Flood's production would appear on each major 9 Nails release until 94, and Sherwood has remixed for the band as recently as 2000. The singles Head Like a Hole and Sin, right? Head like a hole, back at your soul. I'd rather die than give you control. Yeah, that one. It was produced, expanded upon the Right Track Studios. But Michael Azred described the album as an industrial strength noise over a pop framework and harrowing but catchy music. Trent Reznor proclaimed this combination a sincere statement of what his head was like at the time. In fact, the song Down In It spent over 2 months on Billboard's Club Play dance chart, after spending 113 weeks on the Billboard 200. Pretty Hate Machine became one of the first independently released records to attain platinum certification. There were music videos created in a promotion of the album. MTV aired the videos for Down In It and Head Like a Hole, but an explicit video for Sin was only released in partial form for Closer. The original version of Down in It ended with the implication of Trent Reznor's character had fallen off a building and died in the street. The footage attracted the attention of the FBI. I don't know about y'all, but I'm allergic to the judicial system. I don't like cops. They don't much like me. So they always think that I look like somebody who's gonna break the rules. I said to one cop, I said, you know what? I'm gonna make the rules. I'm gonna break the rules, and I'm gonna break his fucking face. But in '89, while doing promotion for the album, the band members were asked what shows they would like to appear on. They jokingly replied, probably while they were drunk or inebriated on something, that they would like to appear on Dance Party USA, since it was the most absurd option they could think of at the time. Much to their surprise, they were booked on the show and made an appearance. So, watch what you say, it might just happen. So, in 1990, Nine Inch Nails began the Pretty Hate Machine tour series, in which it toured North America as an opening act for alternative rock artists such as Peter Murphy and the Jesus and Mary Chain. Trent Reznor began smashing his equipment while he was on stage. Rockbeat interviewer Mike Gitter attributed the live band's early success in front of rock-oriented audiences to this aggressive attitude. Nine Inch Nails then embarked on a world tour that continued through the first Lollapalooza festival in '91. So there you go. Time out real quick. But after a poor European reception opening, they opened for Guns N' Roses. I guess it wasn't that great. The band returned to the U.S. after pressure from the record company to produce a follow-up to Pretty Hate Machine. After finding out they were hindering control of his project, Trent Reznor criticized the labeling of Nine Inch Nails as a commercially oriented band and demanded his label terminate the contract. They ignored his plea. In response, Trent Reznor secretly began recording under various pseudonyms to avoid record company interference. No, I don't want to join your internet club. Leave me alone. Involved in a feud with TVT, he signed a record deal with Interscope Records and created his own. It's called Nothing Records. And we made it very clear that we were not doing another record for TVT. They made it pretty clear that they weren't ready to sell. So he felt like, well, he finally got this thing going, but it's dead. So Flood and Trent Reznor had to record Broken under a different band name because if TVT found out we were recording it, they could confiscate all of our shit and release it. But Jimmy Iovine got involved with Interscope. We kind of got slave traded. It wasn't my doing, he said. But he He also said, I don't know anything about Interscope, and I was real pissed off at him at first because it wasn't going from one bad situation to potentially another one. So, but Interscope went into it like really wanted to know what I wanted. It was good, but after I put my raving lunatic act on, but in 92, Nine Inch Nails relocated to LA to the site of the Tate murders, where I'm sure you guys know Charles Manson murdered Sharon Tate, who was the wife of Roman Polanski and 4 of her friends. The band used to record Broken and the band used it to record Broken and Extended Play. That was the first Nine Inch Nails release distributed by Interscope Records. And reached the top 10 on Billboard 200. In the liner notes, Trent Reznor credited the 91 Nine Inch Nails touring band as an influence on the EP's sound. He characterized Broken as a guitar-based blast of destruction and as a lot harder than Pretty Hate Machine. The inspiration for the harder sound came from the way the live band played during concerts such as Lollapalooza. Songs from Broken earned Nine Inch Nails 2 Grammy Awards, a performance of the EP's first single, Happiness and Slavery, from Woodstock 94, and the second single, it was called Wish, in reference to receiving the Grammy Award for Best Metal Performance for that song, Wish. Reznor joked, Trent Reznor joked that Wish became the only song to ever win a Grammy and says, fist fuck in the lyrics. But according to the brand new material, Trent Reznor began living and recording full-time at Le Pig, working on a follow-up of Free of Restrictions from his record label. So, didn't want to fuck with them no more, obviously. But anywho, Nine Inch Nails sold over 20 million records worldwide, and they've been nominated for 13 Grammy Awards. Winning songs, Wish in 1992 and Happiness and Slavery in 96. Time magazine named Trent Reznor as one of its most influential people in 1997, while Spin magazine has described him as the most vital artist in music. It's a hell of a title. In 2004, Rolling Stone placed Nine Inch Nails at number 94 on its list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. Nine Inch Nails were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2020 after being nominated in 2014 and again in 2015. But the first Nine Inch Nails performance took place at the Fantasy Theater in Lakewood, Ohio on October 21st, 88. Soon after their live support of Skinny Puppy, Trent Reznor aimed to release one 12-inch single on a small European label. Several labels responded favorably to the demo material, and Trent Reznor signed with TVT Records. 9 demos. Hear me when I say this. 9 demos recorded live in November of '88 and collectively known as Purest Feeling were released in revised form on their first album, Pretty Hate Machine, in '89. The overall sound on Purest Feeling is lighter than that of Pretty Hate Machine. Several songs contain more live drumming and guitar, as well as heavier use of film samples. I'm always one to I like film samples. But Trent Reznor chose the name 9 Inch Nails because it abbreviated easily rather than for any literal meaning. I remember, I think I was in 6th grade. I think we were, it was in woodshop. We had to build these benches, these little 1.5 foot long benches, and we wood burned in the top of it. And I would burn the 9 Inch Nails logo. It was pretty badass. But the 9 Inch Nails logo first appeared on the music video for their debut single, Down in It. Trent Reznor and Gary Talpis designed the logo, inspired by Tibor Kalman's typography on the Talking Heads album, Remain in Light. The logo features the band's initials with the second N, it's backwards or mirrored. Talpis, who's a native of Cleveland, continued to design 9 Inch Nails packaging until 1997. But following a hiatus, 9 Inch Nails resumed touring in '05. Released the album With Teeth. Following the release of the album Year Zero in '07, the band left Interscope with a feud. After a feud, they fought. It was bad mojo. 9 Inch Nails continued touring and independently released Ghost 1 through 5 in '08 and The Slip in '08 before a second hiatus. Their 8th album, Hesitation Marks, was followed by a trilogy which consisted of the EPs Not the Actual Events and Add Violence in 2017. Their 9th album, Bad Witch, was released in 2018, but in 2020, 9 Inch Nails simultaneously released 2 further installments of the Ghost series, Ghost 5 Together and Ghost 6 Locust. When touring, Trent Reznor typically assembles a live band to perform with him under the 9 Inch Nails name. The band has varied over decades, with various members leaving and returning. The most recent lineup consists of Robin Fink, Alessandro Cortini, I don't know if it's Lon Rubin, alongside Trent Reznor and Ross. The band's concerts are noted for their extensive use of thematic visual concepts, complex special effects, and elaborate lighting. Songs are often rearranged to fit any given performance, and melodies of lyrics of songs that are not scheduled to be performed are sometimes assimilated into other songs. So, there you go.